done with the basic terminologies of the brain, the basic parts of the brain, and then the next structure that starts beneath foramen magnum and continues in our vertebral column is your spinal cord. So it is situated within the vertebral canal of the vertebral column, and it is surrounded by three meninges like the brain and the meninges that are dura mater, arachnoid mater, and the pia mater. We can visualize it in the image when we are looking from the back. The left image is your brain and spinal cord, and we are looking from the side view, sagittal section. Then from side, the image in the blue color is your spinal cord. The structure that appears like a separated structure is your cerebellum, and obviously in front of cerebellum will be pons and medulla, and beneath these is your spinal cord. Any confusion?
No.
All right. So the spinal cord is roughly cylindrical and begins superiorly at the foramen magnum in the skull. This is the point that comes over and over again, that from where the spinal cord starts. So the terminal we have to memorize the structure, that is your foramen magnum in the skull. And which structure is ending at foramen magnum is your medulla oblongata. And from medulla oblongata, spinal cord is starting. You look confused?
The conus medullaris.
Yes.
Can you explain that structure?
Yes, we have just studied the first three lines, and we are moving to the next point. You have any confusion besides conus medullaris?
The first point is clear.
Yes, okay. So this termination is inferiorly in the lumbar region. Below, the spinal cord tapers off into the conus medullaris from the apex, which is a prolongation of pia mater, and the filum terminale descends to attach the back of coccyx. So the spinal cord is that in an adult person, the spinal cord does not run completely to the end of the sacrum or coccyx. It terminates at lumbar level at like T12, L1 or L2. Different textbooks, some textbooks say T12, L1, some textbooks say L1, L2. So we can three levels, T12, L1 and L2. At this point, the spinal cord terminates. And the point at which the spinal cord terminates is a point that is known as conus medullaris.
Okay.
All right. So we have from looking from the above section, the pons, medulla oblongata, and the cord. And the points, their lumbar enlargement. The point beneath lumbar enlargement is your conus medullaris, the point where spinal cord ends. Beneath this point, the conus medullaris, there is no actual spinal cord. There are just simple nerves, and there is a thick band that is that starts from near about coccyx that attaches to the conus medullaris. It's like a string that is holding the spinal cord in place, and that string is known as filum terminale.
Yeah.
Anything else?
The location of lumbar enlargement is the place where we have the different plexus.
Yes.
The lumbar plexus, and there was a second one.
Cervical plexus, brachial plexus.
Right. Yeah.
These are the plexus that are formed in the periphery, not in the spinal cord. The spinal cord, when the nerves branches off from the spinal cord, they move out, and they move out, then they come together and may form plexus. These are not included in the central nervous system, not in the spinal cord. The plexus are formed in the periphery. That cervical area, nerves came out, they combined and make plexus, and then the nerves further came out. So this enlargement has nothing to do with the plexus formation. The plexus are formed in the periphery, not in the spinal cord.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Any other question?
No.
All right. So again, we are looking at the spinal cord from the back. You can visualize the brain, and then spinal cord is coming down. From spinal cord in the periphery, the nerves spread out. These nerves are spinal nerves, and then these nerves come out, and then they come together and form plexus. There is cervical plexus, there is brachial plexus, there is lumbosacral plexus. And from plexus, the nerves, different nerves come out, like ulnar nerve, median nerve, sciatic nerve, and all of these nerves. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk about the vertebral column, it is divided into regions. There are mainly regions, that is cervical region, thoracic region, lumbar region, sacral region, and coccyx region. So the nerves that come out from the spinal cord in the cervical area are named as cervical nerves. The nerves come out of thoracic area are known as thoracic nerves, and there are lumbar nerves, and there are sacral and coccygeal nerves. All right.
Yes.
Okay. So this is a section that is a transverse section of spinal cord. That we have cut the spinal cord like this, and we are looking from the above section. First, we are looking from the back or from the side. Now we have cut the spinal cord, and we are looking from the above side. All right.
Yeah.
So again, there is a distribution. There is white matter and there is gray matter. The thing that is basically H-shaped or butterfly shape is your gray matter, and around these the area is your white matter. And the gray matter contains cell bodies of neurons, and the white matter contains the axons of neurons. We will be studying this deeply, and the structure that what is that enlargement, that is basically posterior root ganglion. There is posterior root that is sensory, there is anterior root that is motor, then they come out and form nerve, but we would be discussing this mainly in the spinal cord section. So the above image is the coronal section of brain, and the below the image is the coronal section of cross section of spinal cord. All right.
Yeah.